I got into the learning and development field by becoming a physical training instructor in the British Army in 1993. I served 16 years in the Army. That was my first exposure to working within a training or learning and development role. I went on to become an instructor in lots and lots of different military and civilian related subjects. And then when I left the Army in 2006, I've carried on working within a training, within a learning and development role within the civilian world. And well, here I am now. The thing that I'm really passionate about in L&D isn't the latest piece of technology, it isn't the latest gadget or gizmo or piece of software, it's not even really using those particular tools to affect a solution. The thing that really drives me, the thing that I'm very passionate about, is winning people over. The people that are perhaps somewhat skeptical about the part that technology can play, the people that have perhaps had their fingers burned in the past with using technology, the people that themselves on a personal level are a little averse to using it, therefore there's little or no chance of them using it professionally. That's what I drive a lot of passion from, winning those people over, convincing those people, getting those people on board. That really brings me an incredible amount of satisfaction, and it's something that really keeps me within the game that I'm in. With the exception of a 12-month period when I worked vendor side for an e-learning provider, I've always worked within a business, within a corporate, within a large organisation, usually within their HR team and the L&D team within that. So that's what I do that pay the bills. I do have my own business, tailoringit.com, and I am able to bring my expertise and my experience and my skills to external organisations as well. Perhaps, I could work with you in the future, but on a day-to-day basis, I work within businesses, within organisations, as an employee, delivering solutions to those businesses. That's what pays the bills. I'm afraid that not a great deal of my work is actually on show. I've worked for a lot of organisations that are very security restricted. They're very risk averse to how much of their information is made public, both from a security perspective. I worked in the nuclear industry, in the military. From a commercial perspective, I worked within a healthcare insurance provider. So there's not a lot of my work that's publicly viewable, but what I would advise you to do is to visit my blog at tailoringit.com and have a look there. That's where I tend to work out loud. That's where I show my work. That's where I talk about the things that I'm involved in, the things that I'm doing, the things that have been successful and unsuccessful. So while you're probably not able to see the work specifically itself, you will get a very good flavour of the type of work that I'm involved in and where my thinking is at. I'm very active in most social media circles, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. I've got a presence across all the sort of major players within the social media field, and I contribute where I can there, either from sharing articles that I found interesting, echoing other people's thoughts if they've posted some interesting articles or perspective, or directing people towards my blog and the work that I've done myself. So I'm very heavily active in social media circles. I'm also very fortunate that I've been asked to speak at quite a lot of conferences, both online and physical conferences in the past, and that's something that I'm very keen to do in the future. So if you're organising a conference, if you're organising some form of session and you'd quite like me to get involved in that, then please get in touch. This is quite a difficult question to ask, so I'm going to pull that old excuse out the bag and say it really does depend. I observe Twitter a lot. That tends to be where almost my aggregator, where the people that I follow in my community are posting their ideas and their thoughts. But I do tend to find it really does depend on where my head is at the moment, what I'm working on, what I'm involved in, and the general environment that I'm in at that time really does depend. I get a lot from Twitter. I can also be lost for hours and hours in YouTube, jumping from one video, from one tutorial, from one televised speaking session to another. So it really, really does depend. And anybody that's watching this, the advice that I would give is try not to get bogged down too much in one particular platform or one particular network. I do tend to find at times that Twitter, whilst incredibly valuable, and I'm not knocking it, it does at times become something of an echo chamber, and it does tend to become everybody echoing what everybody else is saying, and a lot of mutual back patting, back slapping going on. So I'm not saying don't use one platform, but just be very conscious that you're getting a range of opinions and a range of perspectives within your network. And if you're not, then bring other people into your network, start following other people, or go to a completely different platform altogether and get some ideas from there. My favourite L&D conference, I'm split between two if I'm perfectly honest. The first one is the Learning Technologies Conference. It's where I cut my teeth with learning technologies. It's where I grew up, if you like, and became acutely aware of how little I really knew about the learning technology field. So it'll always have sort of a special place in my heart from that perspective. But my second option, and I dare I say it's probably slightly edging into first place, was definitely DevLearn 2012. An amazing range of people speaking, an amazing range of types of different sessions, as opposed to traditional lecture type formats that learning technology tends to be, although there are some exceptions to that. So right now, right at this moment, I'm still using things and discovering things and working on things that I discovered almost 12 months ago at DevLearn. So it's probably my #1 conference at this moment in time. I think I've learnt this lesson a little bit too late, but the piece of advice that I'd give is try not to surround yourself with L&D ideas. Try not to surround yourself with learning and development people. Get out, look at other industries, look at other sectors, look at marketing, look at comms, look at people that work in brand. Talk to those people, look at those websites, follow those people on Twitter, go to those types of conferences. I tend to find that at L&D, we often exist in what I call the L&D bubble, and there's a lot of echoing, as I mentioned, with Twitter going, a lot of reverberation of thoughts and ideas. Get outside of that bubble, look elsewhere. I can guarantee you there will be things and practices and ideas and things taking place in other areas, in other marketing, in other sectors, areas like that, that will be of great benefit to you in L&D. So my advice would be, try not to get wrapped up, bizarre as it sounds, in L&D, and look elsewhere for ideas. But I think in the future that the one that I'd really like to crack is mobile learning. I think there's a lot of businesses talking about it. There are a few organisations that say they are doing it, and to a degree they are, but I really want to get involved in an organisation that's truly, truly open to the whole gambit of things that mobile learning can bring to us. So that's what I've got my eye on next, really, truly tapping into the mobile learning market. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, I do have my own small consultancy business, tailoringit.com. Have a look on that site there. Have a look at the services page. There's a range of services that I would feel comfortable in delivering to you and to your organisation. There are a range of services that I would like to help you get better at. So it's not a case of me continually building or doing things for you. I'd very much like to work in partnership with you to help you get better at doing these things so that I can walk away and leave you fully capable and fully developed to be able to take that on yourself. So take a look at my blog, tailoringit.com, look at the services page. You can find out a little bit more about me there.